One up and one down for USC as a member of the Big Ten, and they travel to Minnesota this week as a touchdown plus favorite. We got Steve Merrill on the line as we do each and every Thursday here at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate Steve stopping by and breaking things down for us. All right, Steve, USC is an 8-point favorite on the road against Minnesota, who has not looked like a good football team, but they sure put up a fight in the big house against Michigan.
Yeah, so we'll start with my simulation. A 10,000 games simulated through my proprietary model, and I have USC winning by just 5 on average. So I do think this line is inflated. As you said, Mark, the current line is -8, and that's crossing over a couple key numbers. Not only is it a field goal of line value, but we're getting 6 and 7 working for us. So I do think at +8, really at +7.5 or more, there is value with Minnesota in this game. And while they're not having a great season, just 2 and 3 straight up, this is a team still that has statistically been pretty good on defense at times, and I think they can maybe hold USC in check. And I'm just not sold still on that USC defense. You know, everyone thought they were vastly improved after the LSU game, and it was a decent showing against LSU. But on the season, they're still allowing 5 yards per carry. That's not the sign of a really good defense. And I think Minnesota can have some success on the ground in this game, which they're going to have to do better than they've done overall this season. Minnesota also throws for over 7 yards per pass. So even if they get behind in this game, they do have some backdoor cover potential. And one thing I'm paying attention to with this new conference realignment are these strange scheduling spots and trips for teams that aren't used to them. And, you know, I had a free play video on Wager Talk TV a couple weeks ago for the Kansas State BYU late night game. And I mentioned what a tough spot that was for K-State going into the thin air and altitude of Provo. They got blown out in that game as a 7-point favorite. I don't think this spot is quite like that. Now, can you imagine if it had been nice and cold, you know, and they're having to travel up to Minneapolis in November, would have been interesting. But it's still an unusual trip for USC up to Minnesota. I think the home field is worth a little bit more here. And then on top of that, we're getting some value based on my simulation. So I do think Minnesota plus the 7.5 +8 could be a live dog.
It pays to listen to Steve. I needed that information because I went for that K-State line, hook, line, and sinker, and I almost knew it. You know, late night Provo, that just doesn't feel like it should be a cover, but Kansas State's better. They'll get it done. No, sir. All right. You catch Steve Merrill's complete run on the NFL, college football, Major League Baseball at wagertalk.com. And we are so happy that Steve delivers that under the radar selection for us right here at the Voice of College Football. 24-7 against the spread since week 1 of 2022. That's on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/MarkRogersTV. You see the information on the ticker down below, or as a premium YouTube member on the main channel right here at the Voice of College Football. College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Deace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.